a strength to walk out. But since then, I've been healing because I had to take accountability. I had to look at my childhood by the age of 10, what was happening to me at that time. I had to I had to take full responsibility of my sibling. At that time, my mum's got mental health. My dad's missing. He's hardly around.
Wow.
So when I came around uni time now, all I wanted to was to have a boyfriend. How does it feel? I just wanted to lose my virginity. I just wanted to get rid of it. So I didn't know where it was this coming from. And as soon as I met my ex-husband, I just wanted to cater to him. I just wanted to love him. I wanted to do whatever I can to make him happy. And in return, he will reciprocate that. So I had to learn that everybody see love differently. Literally, somebody can be emotionally abusing you and he thinks that's love. He thinks that's okay. So you need to understand, what does love mean to you? Everybody has their own love language, and how we will know and accept somebody's love is how their character is. Like, how I learn is how somebody treats you is really how they feel about you, literally. So if he's ghosting you, if he's invalidating you in any way, it's definitely, he feels like there's no boundary and he can get away with it. So I had to do a lot of that healing, and then healing and having boundaries literally protecting me and making me realize, like, where am I going in life? What is my purpose in life? I feel like we're so focused on trying to find somebody, not realizing just being that person that can cause you not to even enter heaven. Do you know that? Even the Bible's saying to a man, if you treat your woman, if you mistreat your woman, or and be untruthful to your wife, something like that, God can judge you for it. Literally, you can be with somebody and it's causing you to sin, and you're in a marriage and it's causing you to sin. That's what people don't understand. When you're in a relationship, you're both bringing each values. Okay, so for me, what I understand, or what I understood about marriage is, it has values, right? But the value is built on what each of you are bringing into it. So you can literally be married and lose the value in your marriage. We have seen it a lot. People are married, they don't have values. That's what people don't understand. They think that marriage adds value. No, it's the two individuals coming together that create something unique and create their own value. And that's one thing I learned. In my marriage, I lost value. I wasn't being validated. Well, not validated. I didn't have value. I didn't have respect, as in the person wasn't respecting me. And he didn't appreciate me. He didn't prioritize me. But one thing I learned, he didn't need to do it, because I realized marriage is not about somebody marrying you because of love. Sometimes somebody can marry you because you're simply a supply, what you can do for them. That's what I understood, because I just thought, if he's marrying me, he's paying the bride price, that means he loves me. But I had to understand that that is not always the case. Literally, somebody can be with you for years, 30 years. It's just literally what you can do for him or what you can do for her. So that one, we need to be very, very careful. And it took me like 14 years to realize that this marriage doesn't belong to God. God does not recognize it. God is not part of it. Because I see it a lot in my community, especially I'm African. As soon as you're married, they always think every marriage is blessing. That's what they feel like. Every child is a child of God. Every time you see a child, is a child of God. No, some children out there, culture, they've got spirit and it's got nothing to do with God. Literally. I'm going to be fact. Not every baby are angels. So that's what it is. Not every marriage is a blessing of God. Literally, God is not part of it. God is not going to bless it. And it's not going to go nowhere, and it's going to come to an end. That's something I realize. So we need to stop thinking, oh, marriage is a blessing, relationship, we need it. We don't need anything. Like, God did not create marriage for us to need anybody. It's just, God created it as a principle where two valuable people who recognize themselves, they heal, they're coming together to create something beautiful. And that's why so many people are creating something like marriage and making it to a toxic thing, because they're not realizing that they needed to be healed. What is their journey in this marriage? Where they're going as a couple? Literally, I was waking up, he has his own plan, I have my own plan. We literally was not going on nowhere. I was just wasting my time. And God does not want me to waste my time, because he's got a purpose for me. So my desire on this earth is, what does God want for me? I pray, Kojo, every night that my desire is God's desire. That's what I pray about. God, what is your desire? Let me desire what you want me
Amen.
be, or what you want me to be. That's what I want. Because sometimes we pray too much, God give me this, good. But what is God's desire for us? That's the most prioritizing thing that we need to think about. And in our prayers, what does God want for me? And let me desire for it.
Mm, mm.
Okay. I don't want to speak on too long, but yeah, I want
We
to.
appreciate you, sis. Thank you. Thank you. It's about a word, you know what I mean? And I think for those of us who are Christians, especially at the very end part, what you said is Ezekiel is talking about Ezekiel, which is that God gives us a new heart, right? And so he implants his laws on our heart, and so that we can desire the things of him. In fact, the Bible talks in Psalms 37 talks about how that we should delight in the Lord, and He will grant the desires of our heart. But that's because our heart has surrendered to Him, who now leads. So that what you just said is very powerful. For those of us who are Christians, we have a cheat code. The cheat code is that if you surrender to the Lord, let the Lord lead you to who is meant to be for you.
Yeah.
You only need one. So let the Lord lead you to the needle in the haystack, and like you said, surrendering your will and your desires to Him to let Him lead is such a powerful thing. So thank you for that, Missy Colo, as well. Thank you for that. Jesus girl, talk to me.
Hey, how are
What's
you?
good?
Well, there's sometimes there is marriages where God is not wasn't supposed to be in the first place, but I don't always believe that every marriage you go into isn't blessed by it because once you get married, God wants it to stay together. So even if like one someone becomes a Christian, the other one's still an unbeliever, that Christian is still covering that unbeliever as long as they still want to stay. That other Christian is supposed to pray over that spouse, is supposed to be in the gap for that spouse. It's more like a prodigal spouse that hasn't come home yet, because not everyone that isn't with God yet doesn't mean they weren't meant to be with God yet. I believe everyone can be a child of God. So, but when me and my spouse got married at first, I knew I wasn't healed, and I even told him I wasn't. You already knew the trauma I went through when I was 5 years old. That little girl still hasn't healed yet. And so I jumped from relationship to relationship as soon as I was 15 years old. And I was not healing. I was just making things worse by picking wrong people, thinking that this is what I deserve because I didn't deserve better. And so I'm more of the opposite. I'm the baby of the family. I'm not like some women say they are, like when they say they give all of themselves and they lose themselves and they try to make their spouse happy. But I was more of the fearful avoidant, like pushing them away or like being selfish or taking mostly. Um, I would show my love in different ways, but in ways that were not healthy. So it's just when I met my husband, I told him I was not healed. I told him that it would be hard for him if he wanted to marry me, but he agreed anyways. And I thought my husband was a secure man, but I'm like, what secure person would pick someone like me? But then later on, I found out he wasn't a secure person. He seemed like it on the outside, but he had a mother wound that he hasn't dealt with himself, and he was an avoidant, I found out later on. And I was a fearful avoidant, so it was very hard for us to navigate around each other. His love language was acts of service. My love language was intimacy and quality time. And we would try to show each other the love the way that we thought was best, but neither one of us agreed upon how to show that love. So it's very toxic. It was a very toxic marriage. But once I found God after I left, like God had to separate us. Sometimes God has to separate marriages in order to bring them back together. And sometimes marriages get separated and then they don't end up back together, but that's because of people's free will. You can't force the other spouse to come back. But God always wants restoration. God is always calling us to be restored. So when I found Christ, I knew I had to look at myself. Every time I was with someone, I had excuses. Oh, they're mean to me. They're the one that's mistreating me. But I was the one that was picking this man. I was picking all these men that were either cheating on me, mistreating me, using me only for smecks. So I finally had to look at myself and see that I was still completely wounded and I never faced it. I never tried to heal. And so now I'm forced to, because now I have children and now I have to be a healthy mom. I can't be depressed anymore. I can't be suicidal anymore. I can't have anger problems and lash out at everyone because that's how I was. I was controlled by my emotions. And so now I'm on the process of healing, and now my spouse is going in the other direction. And he's not healing. And now he found someone else that was also broken. Because she was in an abusive relationship herself. Her husband would cheat on her all the time, and they found each other because they hated their marriages. And so now they think they're in a better relationship, but two broken people is still two broken people. And I know it's not going to work out the way that ours didn't, because we were also two broken people that didn't learn to heal. We were covering up with the new relationships. And so I'm still praying for him. I'm still asking God for his healing and to meet him where he's at. And I know that I have to remain single and work on myself. And I know that God called me to stand for my marriage. So I'm still praying for him. And I'm also still seeking God. So that's why I said I don't totally agree when people get married. They think it's not blessed by God. It can always be blessed by God as long as you keep fighting with God. That's my opinion.
So, I appreciate Jesus, girl, and I know we had you on, I think on Monday as well, last Monday as well. So we appreciate you as well for telling us your story and being vulnerable and sharing that as well. So I appreciate that as well. Thank you. So audience, we are here. Listen, we got a few more. Probably gone on 40 minutes or so, and I know some people on the panel as well. So I'm going to keep everyone to 2 minutes now because obviously I've done my first 6 people, and so we're going to keep everyone to 2 minutes when they share as well. So if I do bring you up, I'll have a 2-minute timer. I will let you know. For those of us in the room, let's get to 30k likes here. You know what I'm saying? Too, I'm not ambitious when I say that. I think we can. You know what I'm saying? Let's get ourselves to 30k likes. If you're in the room and you're enjoying the conversation, you're being blessed, you're loving what you're hearing, you're taking from the panelists. You know what I'm saying? So whether you agree or disagree, you're getting something from this kind of conversation. I want you to like the live. And yes, don't worry. Next week we will deal with the men. Look, I had the same thing when I spoke about this a few weeks ago when I said about women should submit. They had my neck, and then I started speaking about the men. They had my neck. So it's normal, you know what I mean? And when we do it that way, I do it separate each week so that we can address it specifically. So if you're here coming into this room, you're going to get used to us the way we are. We're going to be back here next week when we talk about the men. You're going to be here. You know what I'm saying, Chi? So we appreciate you. Shout out to Business Shakers from South Africa. Much love. Okay, Mary, talk to me.
Hi, Kojo. Hi, everyone. Evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you're tuning in from. Yeah, so this room is so ideal for me because I'm all about women empowerment. I'm all about women empowerment because I know what it means to have low self-esteem and how that really permeates every other area, especially in relationships. So for me, for example, I created a journal planner, and essentially the purpose of that was to get women to stop focusing on men so much, like the whole Disney come save me from my damsel in distress kind of vibe, and focus on the dreams. Because when women hit their goals, the impact that it has for society, for themselves, is so powerful. But because a lot of us through media, through our parenting, is like the man was the breadwinner. So, you know, technically we're looking up to men to be our saviors, when that is very much not only premature death for a woman's ability to do what she needs to, because everyone's birthed with talents, gifts, but with women we are divine. And I'm not here to argue with anybody. We bring things from the spiritual to the physical. That's enough said. So when it comes to what we need to do, but because we've got all these very false information about you can't do anything without a man in the picture. And I was very much like that because I was married back in 2018. This was with someone abroad. So I'm a British born, and people are like, oh my God, what were you thinking? And to this day, I don't know what I was thinking, but I would never advocate for a woman or a man if you're born here, because the culture, the differences, all of that. But quickly to land my plane, it's like coming from low self-confidence, abandoning my goals to focus on marriage. It hit me hard. Hit me in respect of my bank balance. I'm having to work like 5 times harder to get myself back on track. Yeah, because going through a divorce, all of that it's expensive in a sense that all of that, but it took a toll on my mental health. So I paid a lot of that with that expense with my mental health. So therapy helped, all these things, and just hearing like the conversation. Someone's married for 14 years. You'd think that's enough time to know somebody. You can never know somebody through and through. You have to know yourself, your likes, your dislikes, because some people are just wearing marriage as a title. Oh, I'm a Mrs. Oh, I can't talk to the single girls now. And that's a pet peeve of mine, especially women, when they get married, the way they move around other single women, like ostracize them, it's mad. Because I don't think men do that, but women do. And again, it boils down into other things. Why? Like they carry this marriage thing like a golden championship cup, and it really isn't. It's a sacred covenant. Listen, stop shouting. But yeah, I think I've spoken enough. But yeah.
No, thank you very much for sharing that, Mary. Just take another minute for me, just to be able to, because you said obviously you had low self-esteem. Where was that coming from? Where did you identify that was coming from?